Yeah, you wanna put that dish in your mouth.
Wish you could slide into my mind and make me mine. Push play rewind. Let's whip outside and so am I.
Hey everybody, I'm Dylan B. Dickerson White, Mr. Trans USA 2022. I'm here with our Mr. Trans Minnesota, who's going to introduce himself a bit now, and we're going to kind of just get into our little registration interview, and we might have a little surprise appearance from Bam Bam back here. Um, but yeah, Ash, introduce yourself for about a little bit and tell us about yourself.
So I'm Ashely Scott, also known as Dragon. I am in the Twin Cities. I'm a retired disabled veteran. Um, was over in 2004, 2005, turned 21 in Iraq. Um, I have been doing drag since 2009, but I'm also a public speaker on tons of things, to include HIV, disabilities, especially unseen disabilities. I do trends in the military, and also other transgender and BIPOC issues and stuff like that. I'm in the leather kink community. Um, just got off of my 3 year as Mr. Twin Cities Leather, going to Mr. International Leather last year. Um, and just continuing to be the protector and the dragon, for my community, and things that need to be voiced and stuff like that. As my shirt says, I'll use my breath to speak for those who can't.
Yeah, and I'm sure that was a very deliberate choice for today's interview. Um,
It is actually what I had on the side there, and I'm like, I should
oh,
put on
okay.
a shirt because I don't wear clothes.
I mean, I was trying to give you the benefit of the doubt here. Like, I know that. No, it's funny. It's something I should probably mention. We met, oh my God, over a decade ago now, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
at this point, through a different pageant system, and it's just been kind of, nice to catch up and see where we've been throughout the years and see what you've accomplished within the leather community. And maybe that's where I want to start, because a lot of people may not know, and they think that it's all just kind of all of about the sexual side of the kink side. So maybe we'll get into like what is it about the community other than that like that would draw people in? What's the non-sexual side of it that you would want people to know about?
So community. I kind of say, let's, community of misfits. We kind of, you see that, grunge people and stuff like that, piercings, tattoos, all that stuff. But there are people of all walks and stuff. It's very much like um what am I thinking? Oh, it's much like drag. You have your families and stuff like that, leather families and things. Um, but instead of perform, we dress in leather. We discover kinks, things that fulfill ourselves, things that you like, also teaching them to other people, to show that it's not so much, like a taboo type thing. We do lots of fundraisers and stuff for the community. Hardcore work, like my leather family and stuff are the ones that'll be like, who do we need to cut? Like, um, they're hardcore and stuff like that. But it's a very nice way to get in tune with yourself and the things that you need. Also to, feel good about your body, um, your sexual needs and stuff like that, because those are things that are important. What fills you, what doesn't. Um, and there's many varieties of ways that you can get that, that don't always have to be sexual. You have somebody that you cuddle with, or go hang out and romp around and play with. um, and I think it's really nice. And then, like, yeah, we're kind of, the odd folk.
No, I think that it's a really important the community aspect of it, and that's something that even as general, there's lots of different pageant systems and community, but our pageant system is a little bit it's really heavily focused on community, what we give back to them as well. And it's I think that speaks more of like why I thought you'd be fun for you to jump in with this. But other than me kind of harassing you about it, what was the deciding factor this year that made you want to do it?
um, so this year, like, I've always kind of, looked at it and stuff like that. And also being raised with drag and stuff through the other pageantry system that we had with Gus. Um, and it just spoke to me more, especially with everything that's going on right now. And I cater heavily to a lot of stuff with being proud of being transgender and the person you are. I happen to be the quote unquote passable, it's kind of a negative term that I hate to use, but I'm able to chimera and disguise myself to be around people that and actually get their thoughts and stuff before they find out, shall you say, um, about my background. And it allows me to connect more with people and be like, okay, so all this stuff that you're saying is not true because this is me. Um, but like like advocating for trans in the military and stuff like that, it's actually helped a little bit more. But also like just everything that I've been through, and the fast growing up and maturity that I had to go through and stuff with the military, and being in during don't ask don't tell, finding out about myself, transitioning from the start with no help and stuff, and rules, and then just seeing everything that's going on. Like I went over to Iraq to fight for our rights and stuff like that, and then to sit here and see it now being taken from us for just the stupidest reasons, because people would like to stay unaware of things, like instead of learning about things, and just accepting people for people, they'd rather get on the bandwagon and be scared about somebody or something like that. um, because in truth is it doesn't matter what's in your pants. It doesn't matter what you look like or your style or what you like to do. What matters is your heart and how you treat people, and the way you conduct yourself and stuff like that. And we miss a lot about that. So me telling my story, and staying true for like the things that I think are right, and also being just self-observant to be like, okay, if I'm wrong, I'm learning this and I understand this. This is how I'm dealing with it. Um, to put that out there that like, this is the way you can do that. I mean, we don't like to say it, but we're all trash. It's just, do you want to go in a dumpster or do you want to be recyclable?
I always go with that photo where it's like all the different trash bags, and there's a golden trash bag there, and I'm like that's me. I'm the shiny one, but we're all trash bags,
Right? It's like I'm the one that's gonna show. Look.
right? Like that's we're all trash bags, but I'm just a special glittery trash bag. But
Exactly, we all have the propensity to be, like great and grand, and we all have the propensity to, like jack up, and that's okay. Just, how are you going to take that, and are you going to grow?
and you hit on a really good point about it too, like the humanity of the trans experience, and really like I don't even like to say the word normalize, but just making our humanity more visible to people. And that's another reason I think that, you joining us is going to be pretty wonderful because you said and I know this to be true, that working on a lot of the projects you do and the areas you focused on, disability rights, especially, like you said, unseen disability is something that, people may not, look at you or me and see something that image in their head. But I think that
Especially with everything that we do.
yeah, and I think that it's kind of goes along those lines of misconceptions about different types of communities, and so that kind of leads me into the next question I was going to ask. People have a lot of misconceptions about the trans community, from within the LGBTQ community and outside. So I think maybe I'll ask this as two parts. Outside of the community, what do you think one of those big misconceptions is, and how would you want to address it?
Ooh. Um, so one thing that gets under my skin is people thinking that transition has a beginning and an end. Um, that's, like because you've gone from um as fab, that you automatically, are just going to the male side of the spectrum. And that it's, an ending. You're gonna get all the parts, you're gonna get all the bits, and then vice versa for, AdMap. It's like it is a fluid thing. I mean, our lives, our gender, our sexuality is like water. We're continually flowing. Regardless if the water is in an ice state or a gas state, it's always moving to some extent, just maybe slower. Um, and there are so many parts of the spectrum of it. I'm just me. Technically, I don't gender myself. I'm masculine presenting. And I'm just me because I know depending on who I'm with and who I'm around, or what I'm doing, I have a very masculine and or feminine side to approach it. And many people do. If you actually look at the things and what the definition of masculine and feminine is, um, we're continually passing those barriers throughout the day. Um, and that's okay. I mean, like, that's who you are, that's who we are. You wanna get into hormones and stuff like that that, just showed and it's like, no. Um, I call myself a medical unicorn to an extent, because I don't have anything that creates hormones in my body. But I have high amounts of hormones of both estrogen and testosterone. This is what I look like. Uh, so it's like it doesn't completely say what you are and things like that. Um, the other thing is that like you were just protruding our bodies, like perverting our bodies and do this that were so sexual, and things like that. Like I know on the being a transgender woman, they're very sexualized, like extremely sexualized, which is just crazy, especially being a BIPOC, trans female. But then on the other side, like masculine ones are very sexualized as well. It's a lot quieter, but very much are, to perverted ways and stuff. And it's just like, no, that's not what a lot are. In fact, there's tons that are agender and just you know don't even think of it at all.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's
but
those are two really important ones too. Yeah, like just the idea that transition has this like timeline of sorts and beginning end, and it all has to be the same path for people. And again, the idea that it's all just so heavily focused on sex, and that probably has a lot to do with them people not even being able to separate the idea of sex, sexuality, and gender, like all of them together, because people are very unaware of those things for sure.
yeah, another reason why I like the leather and kink community because you're actually diving into that stuff, um, and learning more. It's like like everybody is kinky. Definition of kink is something that you like, that you enjoy, that gives you something. Um, if you like giving your partner a massage, that's body worshiping. That's a kink. Cuddling, that's a kink. So it's like many things, and it's just the definitions of words and the way that you want to open up yourself and think about things. Um, we as a like country and stuff, we stop. We are boxed um, in a controlling way so much that we like we let it happen, instead of really getting out there and learning about ourselves, mainly and first of all, because when we learn about ourselves and who we are and what we like and what we do, it allows us to go to other people and actually enjoy their experience, to want to learn about them, to love fully and support them, and everything like that. Monogamous relationships to unmonogamous relationships, a poly relationship and stuff like that. um, it allows us to open our minds a whole lot more, and actually start to enjoy people and where we're at and what we're doing, instead of continually being a depressed and suppressed type community, that is just no fun and nobody likes.
So this is the fun part of being able to record these ahead of time. We get to avoid all the odd technological issues. So we're on different things in different places, both of us.
Yeah,
But I
that
was going
works.
to, yeah, whatever, we have to make it work. Just like pageantry, you got to just sometimes make it work. Um,
Right.
so the question I have is actually kind of related to that. We were kind of discussing, you know, body positivity and that, and you were commenting on that, and it brought me to my next kind of question, on the importance of that, especially for certain categories in Trans USA. And I know you and I have talked about this, but I think from your perspective, it'd be really cool to let everybody kind of in on this as well. Like, what's the importance of having swimsuit in our pageant?
The importance mainly is to show bodies, to show that we are all different types, we are all different shapes, we're all different colors, and we are people. Um, we look just like you, walk, talk, have reservations like you, feel ways about ourselves when we look in the mirror. And even more so because we're told we're supposed to be certain ways and we don't fit those certain ways. Especially being taught we have to, but knowing that what, I'm a unicorn and I am amazing. Um, but that's not always what you see. Difference is not good, quote unquote. But it's like they like to be like we're all unique and love it, but don't like to preach that. Like we're not we preach that, but don't show that a lot. That it's okay. Like I'm a guy that goes out and I get my nails done. Um,
That's a
one
fun
because
color.
my nails were really weak. Um, and getting them poly because what I do at work and stuff would break them off and stuff. And it's awesome, but I still get looks when I go into the place and be like, hey, I want a full set of gels. And they're like, oh, you want just clear pink or something? I'm like, no, I want colors. Look, my nails are like my socks. They they are amazing and are fun. Um, but like yeah, swimsuit is definitely a big thing. But also, like to the contestants, swimsuit is a big thing because it kind of makes you go through this bit of body positivity to be, like to express yourself and to love yourself in many ways because we cut, like we're kind of taught to cover up so many things. Like being in the leather and kink community and stuff like that, like it's white cis males, and not just that, it's either muscles or twinks. So trying to find your spot in that, especially as like a trans mass person, is very difficult. Like they're all wearing jock straps and harnesses. not not something that's quite created for us.
Yeah.
Um, and to be able to like get into that body positivity, that love, to know that people are not just like staring at you and your bits or your scars and stuff like that. Because mainly if you hold yourself up and stuff like that and love yourself, people are looking at that. um, if they are looking at you and your body, it's because they're interested in being like, hey, I kind of want to get a little bit more into that. So it's definitely a necessary thing. As much as I run around in some jock straps, singlets, harnesses, or whatever, even I still feel certain ways about my body and stuff. I'm almost 40 years old. Um, and looking at myself and it's like, but like also knowing in the back of my mind, I got to be graceful with myself. That I am getting old. It's my metabolism is slowing. It's a lot different. My body is changing, and that's okay. Um, you just keep going and stuff as long as you're happy with your body, and the main thing is you. As long as you are happy with it, not anybody else, not they mama, not the whatever, just you. Um, and as long as you love yourself, you are happy with how you're healthy and stuff like that. And if you're not, then do something to change it. Um, you know, Try to change your food, go for some walks or something like that. I mean, being disabled, there's a lot that I can't do, especially gym wise. But what I can do is I can walk. What I can do is, be graceful with myself and be like, what, I did a lot of household stuff today. And being neurodiverse and autistic and stuff, that's a hard thing um, just to do stuff in your house. But know that walking to and from your car, that's exercise just as much as going to the gym and walking on a treadmill. um, so you got to love yourself. And I think it's really an awesome and challenging thing that's we have the swimsuit part in the pageant because of that.
And just seeing, from my personal experience, knowing that doing it, everybody was just as terrified at first. But the minute we saw the first person go out and everybody started cheering and screaming and hooting and hollering, it was just kind of wonderful to have
Oh
that
yeah.
relaxation, like when everybody to feel that moment of just that a lot of us, have never gotten to, even those of us who competed before, get to do
Oh yeah.
or
That
that
that's
wasn't always
accomplishment right
happening.
there. After you walk out on that stage and stuff like that, that is a great feeling accomplishment. Doing that. And um, the leather and Kingston being with Mr. Minnesota Leather, and then going to nationals, they have Pecs and Personality, which is kind of like the swimsuit thing, but it's wearing the skimpiest little club thing. Usually it's jock straps and harness and stuff like that. So trying to figure out a way that I was comfortable. I ended up wearing some hot leather shorts, some really really high cut small leather shorts, and harness that just shows off me. And then the thing that's completed it was a leather gauntlet on my wrist that was the trans flag. Um, and I was able to walk out there with my hand held high, um, being the only transgender person on that stage. Um, and that made everything, just that the cheers and everything like that, really pumps you up and stuff like that. Because even though you might not see yourself as sexy at times, I guarantee you there are at least 10 people that are looking at you and think you're sexy at all times.
That was not, you know, that was literally just coughing. But um, no, I think that's, you know, being seen as beautiful. Like I said, you may not see it, and just getting that affirmation from a lot of people too. It's such an important thing for everyone.
It is, and I
Everyone on the
know,
other side.
yeah, I know. Here lately, I've like switched and made it a point to you know affirm people a lot more. When I'm just saying hi or something, it's hi beautiful, or happy birthday beautiful soul, or something like this, just to remind people that like there's so much that's beautiful about you and stuff like that. Because we don't hear it enough. We don't. Through our partners, through our family, throughout life and stuff like that. It's not said enough. Um, and we tend to overlook just the smallest things, but those are the biggest things that matter.
And I think it's another big part of being visible as trans people, and in one of the most obvious ways possible, I suppose, with that. So I kind of wanted to jump into that question because it's something that I've asked pretty much everyone here, and wanted to get your take. Um, so personally, for you, after having been out for so long, and what we talked about, what does being visible mean for you at this stage in your life?
What is being visible? I guess for me, it's a little bit different. As a BIPOC individual, as a black person, I'm always visible. I'm always being looked at. I'm being judged, and people are waiting for somebody to put the wrong foot down. Um, and knowing these things and stuff like that, it could cost my life. Um, Being transgender on top of that could cost my life. Um, so I think like I've always been some sort of visible, although to me, I always feel invisible. Um, I think that now it's just just telling my story, just being out there, because growing up, starting my transition in like what 2009, um, there I didn't see anybody that was like me. There weren't a lot of black and or BIPOC transgender individuals out there. Um, Heck, transgender itself wasn't out there. Um, to what it is and stuff. So um, for me, it's if I'm able to sit there and just talk to people and tell my story in some sort of way to reach somebody, by writing a poem, by giving a performance that says much more about the song or how I translate it with my life. Um, to sit and teach a class about one of the many things that I have learned or done in my life. Um, I think that's important. It's very important. Um, just talking to people and learning about people's life experiences and stuff, because unless we ask, unless we sit and listen, we don't know. Um, and we leave ourselves in a spot where we can just be complacent and be those people that just allow laws and stuff like that to harm other people, because we can sit and say, well, I never heard of that, or I don't know anybody like that. Um, and in fact, you do. So, you know, I think being visible is just, living your best life and being authentically you, and, like telling your story so other people can hear it. And so that, like your story is, nobody else is going to be able to walk your story. Nobody else is going to be able to walk in your shoes, but there are similarities and commonalities towards people, which we can empathize with. Um, and that's one of the biggest things that's necessary. We need, we need empathy. We need to be empathetic in this life.
I know that's it's one of those things that people really have a hard time with. I think these days, the empathy. I think, and I think it all goes back to that view of trans people as not human. And we've all talked about this pageant as something that kind of brings our humanity to the forefront, puts us out there, being visible. And there's a lot of work involved with it, and that's something that we kind of play around with this next question on. And I don't have this kind of money, and if I did, I would absolutely give it to you. But if you had $10,000 to start a project in the community to increase that visibility, what would that be?
Mm, that's a hard one.
It is, because it's not a lot of money, but it's enough to, you know what I mean? Like,
I mean, like, there's so much stuff out there that's needed and necessary. Um, but I think I'd make have a housing type situation, apartment for those that are transitioning, that don't have, like family or friends or anything like that. But also those, that are, like kicked out of the house youth wise or stuff like that. And I'd couple it with a animal place, kind of like pit bulls and parolees style, but different, but where they're able to, like gain work experience and get, work things, um, and be able to have, legal folk come in that are willing to help them get, any other stuff, surgeries and stuff through their insurance and stuff like that. Any legal fees with changing their names and birth certificates and stuff like that. But also, like get job experiences, help filling out resumes and stuff like that, and just set them up, um, in a way that they begin to get confidence within themselves and know what they are able to do. Um, and also, like have that safe space to grow, to heal, to change, to learn and stuff like that. And everything, because there's so many times that we're left from our parents because of religious things, or being gay, LGBT in the community and stuff like that, and the people that are supposed to love us have hurt us. um, and that's one of the hardest things to get over, because we're taught so much that, that family blood is thicker than water and stuff like that is necessary. And it's they come and go. You see these people on holidays and stuff like that. Now, family can be great if you have family, yes. But also do not, you know, bypass or second guess, or, put your chosen family, like aside, because those are the ones that choose you. Those are your ride or dies. Your family, you're born there, your blood. We have to accept you to an extent. The other ones, those are the ones that are going to go in for you. Um, so just give time and space in a place and stuff like that. I don't care if it's a retreat or whatever, but I want to kind of provide a space in that way. um, if ever, where you can sit and talk, or you can go and do your own thing or something like that, but you're in a place that accepts you fully. I just went to a leather and kink convention, this international leather and boot black, and they held it in New Jersey. But that weekend was amazing. It was a space where all bodies were allowed, all colors were there. It was like a fairy garden. Um, this space was just so full of positive energy and stuff like that, and accepting. And it's like, I wish the whole world was like that. It was amazing. um, and that's something that I wish upon everybody. Just, you are fully accepted. You can do whatever you want. If you go out in a pink tutu, you feel like you want to put curls in your hair, or what, it just, just dance around with some wings or whatever. You're, you know People are like, cool, look at them, let that light shine. We're not worried about other people dimming our lights. um, because it's like just because somebody else may shine brighter than you at the moment does not mean your light went any darker. If anything, it means that we shine brighter together. Um, and it's just the thing that we don't have to compete. Um, we're so big with competition and winning this and that and stuff like that that you forget how much you're winning by actually doing these things. Um, Losing doesn't make us, it doesn't take us 3 steps back. We're still growing, we're still learning things in order to get to the next level and stuff. Um, and we gotta think of things that way. It's not about who's got more, who's got this and stuff like that. Like we should all be, look, if you've got more, then give some of that more to other people that definitely don't got more. Um, because it's the people that we're here for. What are you gonna do with this money when you're dead?
That's a big thing. Like you can't take it with you, right?
Yeah, it's like I don't want to stand, go back at my funeral and stand and look at, seats all in the thing or whatever. I want to see this whole celebration because, these people meant so much to, people in our community or something like that. We have parades for people and stuff like that.
So I think as the last little bit of that, I kind of used that question to lead into this last question. Uh, so we talked about projects and things you'd want to do for the community, given that opportunity and that funding. But that's all, and that's a big part of being one of the title holders is really working on community projects and always having that idea and putting yourself out there to be that active representative. But I wanted to ask if you could personally take away something from the experience this year, and especially at nationals in November, what you would want that to be.
Um, I guess it's what I always like to take away. Friends, stories, um, the knowledge of there are those out there that are like me. Um, and like it's always nice finding new people that are fighting and doing other things because I'm not always able to fight things. I don't always have the spoons, mentally and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but what I can do is I can raise up other people. And regardless if they send me a thing or something like that, or I notice it, I can post it on my page. I can do that. Little things like that matter, because it's word of mouth. It's getting things around and stuff, and it's still supporting. So it's just growing my community, and also growing other communities, because you never know when somebody may see something, and that make the difference.
Yeah, you wanna put that dish in your mouth.
Hi, I'm your Mr. Trans Minnesota 2023 Ashely Scott. I was asked why I'm running this pageant. I'm running this pageant because growing up, I didn't see anybody like me. I didn't have anybody that would tell me their stories that was like me. So I'd like to tell my story to everybody that will listen so that there's more people that know that there's someone like you and that you are okay and you're wonderful.
Yeah, you wanna put that dish in your mouth.